welcome to tonight's episode of the Petty and Ill-Informed podcast, where we, the petty and ill-informed hosts, take a look at some petty and ill-informed subjects. Joining me, as always, Nikki.
What's up? Hey, everybody.
And Kevin.
Yeah, you nailed that intro, baby.
And Tom.
Thank you very much, Richard. Pleasure.
That song was the first song on Tom's album, Resonance Pulse. Resonance of Fire. That one is called, Revulsion? Whatever. It begins with an R.
The band name is Revulsion. The album is Return Fire, and that was track one, indeed, Magnetic Pulse.
Well, I got the Pulse part and something right. And that is easily my favourite song on that album. I've listened to it so many times. I do have a version with speaking words, but I'm not quite happy with it, so I'm not going to roll that one out just yet.
Ooh, what do you mean? Did you do the voice?
Yes.
Oh, okay. And you're saying that you're not ready. You're not ready to. You don't like that.
It's not that I don't like it. I'm just not happy with the clips I'm using. It's just,
Oh, okay. So you're
10 years from now, I'll have it done.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You've got to at a certain point in time, just call it good and just put it right there, buddy.
Yeah, just suck it up.
Yeah, just suck it up. I like the song. It was very, very Gary Newman-esque. I met Gary Newman this week on a Thursday.
Oh yes, did you get him to endorse the podcast?
I did. We were close. I did talk to him. Sam talked to him for a good long time, and at the time, this was his first show back. He had COVID, had to cancel a lot of shows. Was just didn't, and he seemed like a wee bit grumpy, and although very, very nice, and we just didn't have the heart. We didn't have that. We didn't want to ask him. We did. I'll tell you what. I bottled it. If it would have been anybody else, I think I would have got him to do it. But I'm just.
Well, we can say we're Gary Newman adjacent.
Well, at one point in time, I said to Sam, "Can you say to him, will you endorse our podcast?" Just so he would say, "No, I'm not going to do that." But we didn't do that. But Sam did talk to him for quite a long time, and got to see the sound check, 3 songs and everything like that. So he's doing the shows here, and then he's going to go to Britain, and I think May, something like that, and he's going to play at Wembley Stadium. So it made a big difference from being here to going to Wembley Stadium, I think. But, and I helped him figure out where he was going to play in Belfast, so that was all right.
Good. All right, then. That's neat. So that was Kevin's week. Anything interesting happened to you, Tom?
Okay. One thing this week is, and this was just in the last few hours, I saw a guy I live 2 doors away from called Chris. And Chris is a Christian. He's also happens to be a secondary school teacher, teaching in a school near to me, and we know a lot of the same children. But his church have recently made a decision to open their doors to homosexual people and homosexuality without condemning it as in any way sinful. And to endorse gay marriages and things like that. And I had been waiting to bump into Chris and speak to him and say how wonderful I think this is, what a massive step forward I think it is, and how inspiring I find it. I mean, I'm not a Christian, but I have huge amounts of respect for people who are, and I thought this was great. And I said to him, I've been meaning to write an open letter to people of your church, just to say, even though I'm not a Christian myself, to say, well done and thank you. And he said, that would be really, really appreciated because they've had an awful lot of negative, if you like, feedback in the other direction.
Oh yeah, I'm betting that. I'm betting that other Christians are absolutely losing their minds. Right?
Christianity, of course, is famously against the whole homosexual thing.
Is it the Episcopalians? Is that what it is? Church of England?
No, this isn't a Church of England church. It's a sort of free church of some kind. But interestingly, where was I going with this? the reason I know about it is because a handful of new faces started appearing at the church that Hannah goes to, and I therefore also go to. It's because I go we go as a family, and a few new faces have appeared, and they're basically people who have defected from this church on the grounds that they don't agree with this decision, and I think that's really sad. And so I wanted to send some. We haven't, for one reason or another, we haven't been ourselves in a little while. It just things have come up, and we've been away, stuff like that. So I haven't sort of met any of these people yet, or I don't know if I went there, if I would, or maybe I would see new faces that I don't recognise, and I don't know. But point is, I'm just putting the finishing touches to this letter now.
Yeah.
No, that's very commendable. Very commendable, Tom.
Trying my best to word it in the right way. So every time I think I'm done, I go back and I think, oh, hang on, this should be said a little bit differently and things like that.
Well, I think that from a certain standpoint, this is the idea that anyway, we will go into the whole thing of it, but it is interesting that some churches.
Well, we won't, will we?
Well, no. I'm just saying from my perspective. I don't know if it actually says in the Bible, in the original translation or the original writing of it, that that's a problem.
It also depends massively on how you interpret it.
Right.
I mean, I could read the letter. It'll only take about 2 minutes, or is that just going to be boring?
It's up to Richard.
I don't care. If you want to read it, read it. I want to go back to what Kevin said, though.
Well, see what is about interpretations of the Bible and things. That's covered in it. That's why I suggest. That's why it makes sense.
All right. Read your letter then.
Okay. Open letter to the leaders, and also this is a really helpful proofread for me, guys. I really appreciate this. Let's go. Open letter to the leaders and members of Riverside Church, Whitstable. That's my town. Dear good people of Riverside, my name is Tom. I am a primary school teacher, father of 2 boys named Daniel and Reese, and husband to my beloved wife Hannah. I do not profess to be a Christian myself, but my dear Hannah most certainly is, and we attend a different local church where I help out with the family. I have many good friends there. I wanted to write to you to say how wonderful I think it is that you have opened your doors and hearts to gay people, and indeed all who identify as LGBTQ+. It has been a constant source of great concern to me that so many churches cling on to the classic stance that homosexual love has no place in the kingdom of God. So many times over the years, I've heard people having to say lines such as, we are to love the sinner but hate the sin. Or, in the case of Christian parents with gay children, we will pray that they will return to the right path, but we will always love them. I think this represents a sad and somber viewpoint. Why should being gay be any kind of problem? I know I speak as a non-Christian, but for me, sin is where the hurt is. All relationships and marriages should be equal with equal rules. By only endorsing heterosexual love, Christianity is dishing out the hurt. How can this be Christ-like? Would Jesus really have felt this way? How can 2 people who love each other and are hurting no one be guilty of sin? Sexual sin is where the harm is, infidelity or sexual assault, such as the awful examples highlighted by the #MeToo movement, for example. It's my firm conviction, Riverside, that you are not betraying Christ, but honouring his legacy of love. You are turning away from a hurtful position and embracing the path of care, kindness, inclusion, and compassion. And if there is a God up there, I can only imagine he is thrilled to bits with you all. It's very tempting to feel, or to be told, that taking this path is, in inverted commas, going against the word of God, or that you are ignoring the Bible. I'm aware that this issue raises many questions about what the Bible really says, how it is to be interpreted, and how we apply it to today's big issues. Those of you in deep moral dilemmas certainly have my sympathy. Now, I am no biblical scholar, but I believe interpretations of the Bible have indeed changed many times over the years, and major issues with immense moral connotations have been thrashed out, just like this one. You only have to go back a couple of hundred years to find people such as Jefferson Davis, president of the breakaway Confederacy that started the American Civil War, who were utterly convinced that owning slaves was godly and biblical. In inverted commas, slavery was established by decree of Almighty God. It is sanctioned in the Bible in both testaments from Genesis to Revelation. It has existed in all ages and has been found among the people of the highest civilization and in nations of the highest proficiency in the arts. Jefferson Davis, President, Confederate States of America. I wonder if in a few hundred years' time, humanity will look back on this era and be in disbelief that Christianity ever had homosexual and heterosexual relationships and marriages on an unequal footing. You should be so proud of yourselves. You are a beacon of light throughout the Christian world, and I sincerely hope that your wonderfully loving stance inspires churches throughout our community to one day open their hearts to love in all its forms. Bless your hearts, you good people. Yours sincerely, Tom Arnold.
I'd lose the bit about the Confederacy.
Yeah.
I don't see the relevance of that. Plus, the Civil War wasn't about slaves; it was about money.
Okay.
But apart from that, damn good letter.
Yeah. I mean, the point I'm trying to make is that if people, can interpret something, that Christians now would, and all people would be completely opposed to, then it shows that, you can interpret the Bible in so many different ways. And there's no need to cling on to. Maybe I need to make that clearer and not use such a blatant example. I don't know. I'll have a look.
Was that sarcasm?
No.
You're getting snippy.
No.
It sounded snippy. Are we getting to you, Tom?
No, you're making me think. You're making me evaluate.
Yeah.
Dragging you down to our level.
Send it to me, Tom. I will look over it more clearly and tell you, like, in depth of my thoughts on it.
You may regret doing that. I'm just going to warn you.
Listen, I'm not going to be mean to him.
That is a blatant lie. And
I'm always nice to Tom because he's not a dick to me.
I think it's good to have Nikki look at it because she identifies as a Christian, and so therefore I think that's an important person to have it. I mean, it doesn't matter to you know what I'm saying. First of all, the fact that I am from Northern Ireland and don't say that I'm a Christian is
my God.
Well, no, dude, I'm not saying. I'm saying this. I mean, if I wade into this topic, I'm going to get it for both sides. I'm just going to tell you that now. But no, I'm just saying. But I think it's good to have her take a look at it from that standpoint. I'm just saying.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was trying to be a compliment, but Richard won't let you compliment anybody anymore.
No, he won't let me. He won't let anybody compliment me. Is the deal,
right?
Why would I let anyone build you up? I've been gaslighting you and been trying to drive you insane for years.
He's like the opposite of the overprotective boyfriend.
And it still hasn't worked. He's like, please abuse her, please.
Leviticus is about pride, Gabby. It's not about homosexuality. I don't care what the fundamentalist Christians say. It's about pride.
Well, the problem with it is if you say that two men should not have sex in the marital bed, which is how it really would translate. What it's saying is A, it doesn't say homosexuality is wrong because lesbianism is homosexuality. And in no place in the King James Bible does it say that lesbianism is wrong.
And a lot of it was mistranslated.
At all.
It actually said not to take up your bed with a boy.
Right.
Not a man.
It
was going against pedophilia because men were taking on little slave boys.
Well,
see, we've got 3 very diverse opinions already on one Bible passage.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying.
We can all agree that Corinthians has all the good shit. Yeah.
All I'm saying is it's not as cut and dried as everybody wanted. And of course, King James was a well-known homosexual. So therefore, his Bible kind of is kind of an interesting thing. But, anyway, he liked the cut of a young man's, you like the cut of a young man's leg.
Why, Kevin?
Famously put it that way.
Why'd you have to go to a weird place with it?
Well, no, I'm just telling you that he didn't think there was a problem with homosexuality. Obviously, King James, who the Bible is named after. That's all I'm saying.
Hmm.
I mean, sure, he did have children, but that was just because he was, he had to increase the line of the thing. But just because somebody has children doesn't mean they're not gay. I guess that's my thing.
Hmm.
Anyway.
Well, anyway, so Will Smith slapped Chris Rock.
Okay, wait a second. Wait a second. Ah, for fuck's sake. Never
Yeah,
mind.
okay.
There we go.
Angel is a centerfold.
Yeah, but with bagpipes.
That's good.
I spent a lot of time doing that. Smack that. Smack that.
All on the flow.
Smack that. Well, this is the thing that I'm interested about this thing. I think I mean, I as an older man, 50 years old, did not see the problem with it. And I've been told by young people that I'm a dinosaur. I'm a dinosaur who looks at things in a very, very weird way, and that my take is wrong, which I accept. I can accept that my take is wrong because I would be the type of person that said, you insulted my wife, I'm going to come, take a poke at you, knowing that at that point in time, I might go to jail for it.
See, I think it was staged. I've felt it was staged since the get go. I still believe it was a stage because, I mean, Chris Rock was selling concert tickets, like see him, like tickets for $45 a seat, and as soon as he got slapped, it went up to like $145.
Right. Wow.
I mean, any PR is good PR sometimes, especially when you're famous.
Right.
The Oscars, the viewing of the Oscars have went down astronomically year after year after year. They really needed a stunt like this to make people want to watch it next year.
Yeah, but I think
Cap.
but is anybody going to watch it next year knowing that
Nah, man, nobody
Will
cares.
Will Smith is not going to be, and my question with the thing I heard yesterday is that he resigned from the Academy. Does that mean anything? Does that mean he can't act in a film?
No.
No.
Nah, we just
So
No.
what's the
Yeah.
downside for him?
absolutely nothing. I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
besides everybody thinks he's a chump now. And I mean, like, you got Bill
Well,
Maher talking shit, going, hey, if Jada was so upset about her hair loss from alopecia, why didn't she put on a damn wig? Like, if it bothers her so bad and she's so sensitive, why did she just shave her head and she walks around confidently that way? And then you have,
right.
I don't know.
And isn't
I
their
saw a
relationship
meme.
kind of messed up too? I mean, I thought
Okay, first of all, they're Scientologists, which is
oh,
a whole new thing, but or a whole nother thing. But they have an open marriage. Both
but
of
what's
them.
the point? What's the point? I mean, I don't know. I guess
So it
that's what
really
I'm
doesn't
saying.
matter. It doesn't matter. If he
No,
felt
I
like he
understand.
needed to, if he needed to say something, cool. But my thing is he should have stopped from he should have stopped from what he said when he was sitting down. He should have just been like, keep my damn wife's name out of your mouth, and then just left it at that.
Right.
I think that would have been far more classy, but because I don't think that it's this horrible feministic thing that like you have to take up for yourself as a woman. Like I don't find it insulting when someone feels like they can take up for me, because I take up for myself all the time, and sometimes it's really tiring to do that on your own. And you could be strong and independent and take up for yourself and still appreciate someone else going, you know what? Maybe she shouldn't have to let me help her out. Like, a lot of people are saying that he undermined Jada's strength by sticking up for her publicly, and I don't think that that's right either.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've
but
heard that. I've heard that. Would it be considered? Would it have been treated very differently if she did it herself? I mean, I wonder if I could
She
be
would have
wrong.
gotten in less shit for it.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what I'm saying. I wonder if there would have been far less.
Oh yeah, there would have been far less debate and scandal.
And I wonder if
Would have
Tom.
been a strong, independent woman striking a blow for femininity if she'd
Yeah,
done it.
Yeah,
right,
absolutely. If she had
Yeah.
done it for Will Smith, like, ah, she's so strong taking care of her husband, and he would have been in the wrong for not taking care of himself in that position. So
right,
Will
right.
Smith is screwed either way. I did see
Yeah,
a meme, however, that was like, you know, if it had been Dave Chappelle instead of Chris Rock, he'd be like on day 3 of telling Jada Pinkett Smith jokes, and I think that that's right. Because Dave Chappelle, if Will Smith were to have smacked him, he would have just been up there like, okay, let's go.
right,
Challenge accepted, Will.
right. Because I think at that point in time, he's thinking to himself, "I'm going to make hay while the sun shines." You know what I mean? And an open-handed slap like that
Yeah,
is I mean, historically speaking, if you were going to challenge somebody to a duel, that's how you
mhm,
would do it. An
right.
open-handed slap or a slap with your glove, and you'd say, "Okay, meet me tomorrow at you know
Blah blah blah
at,
time.
at dawn, and we'll shoot this out." And that's
Right.
what I'm thinking is the weird part about it is, you know, in 150 years, you've gone from being able to duel over somebody's honor to not be able to do shit about it.
I think it's all a matter of decorum. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Well, I mean, but well, that's the thing that I find interesting is that they say, well, no, I mean, it's the juxtaposition of it that I don't get. On the one hand, it's like, uh, no violence is ever accepted in
Right.
polite society, but we're fighting wars and we're funding wars
Absolutely.
in
Yeah.
Ukraine, and that's the way that is. I mean, the thing about it is how far away does violence have to be for it to be acceptable?
Yeah.
Because clearly Los Angeles isn't far enough away.
Here's my take for what it's worth. These are vapid, shallow people that live inside their own little bubbles, and I refuse to accept that anyone can just walk onto the stage, without security getting a little bit involved.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
Can't,
interesting.
you can't just walk onto like if you go to a concert, you can't just go up to where the band are. These are very, very shallow, very vapid people. They live in their own little bubbles. They've all got there would be security up the wazoo at the
Yeah,
Oscars.
that's
And Will
true. That's
Smith
true.
just strolls onto the stage and slaps Chris Rock, and no
Hmm.
one does anything. No, I
Yeah,
don't buy that. I don't
yeah,
buy that for a second. It
but
was obviously staged.
but
Yeah, I
but
believe it's
that's the
staged.
way that the show is supposed to be. These people are supposed to come out of the crowd onto the stage and be able to accept their award. That's how
Well,
it's
But
that.
it
So
wasn't
but
his turn.
yeah, but
I
there wasn't
think,
anyone getting an award. He was telling a joke.
is it possible that security are all on the doors and who's let into the building? And they sort of, I mean, these sort of elite acting world of people, they wouldn't necessarily have bouncers and security by the
That's
stage. But
that's true.
I
That's
don't know,
true.
maybe.
Because
But
why?
they've got waiters. What if a waiter goes bad and makes a run for the stage to try and kill the people up there? They'd have security inside. I mean, that's again. I go back to the concert. Why they have security in the crowd and around the thing if they just check the tickets? Oh, you've got a ticket. Come in. You
Right,
can
but
do whatever.
Kanye West, I don't believe that Kanye West, when he went up and bugged what's her face, was I don't think that was
Okay,
staged.
that's
He still
different
got it,
because
but he jumped up on the stage.
yeah,
Yeah,
but no
I
one's going
think,
to stop Kanye West. The dude is crazy. All
but
right.
I think security wouldn't necessarily twig that they should stop him. They wouldn't necessarily identify him as a threat. It might
Exactly.
possibly. I don't know. I mean, people sort of follow unwritten scripts. It's a psychological thing, and the maybe the psychological thing would be, oh, it's another actor walking up, and they just didn't do anything. I don't know. It's a question worth asking, though, Richard. Definitely.
I honestly think that it was staged. I
It's
think
a
that it was really good to sell tickets. It's a really good way to get people to watch whatever he won his award for, which I don't know because I don't watch the Oscars. I don't give a crap. about the
wouldn't-
politics.
I think if it was staged, they would have most likely included Will Smith apologizing to Chris Rock at the end and him coming up and them having a bromance makeup hug
Why?
before the end of the
It's-
show.
Yeah, but why though? Why would they do that when they could easily just ride off of those views of someone getting slapped and then leave it at that? It's
Yeah.
good for both the guys.
To,
I think-
Honestly,
to give a more positive vibe to the Oscars
right, but
and make it relevant again. If it wasn't
and make people want to go see the stupid movie and make people want to go see Chris Rock, which what has he been doing lately? Nothing. Like,
I wasn't even aware he was still famous.
exactly.
Gabby, what you're saying, I get what you're saying about the scandal if someone had tried to stop Will Smith. However, I can only imagine it would have worked in his advantage because the headlines would have been, oh, Will Smith was so pissed off for his wife, security had to hold him back from Chris Rock. You know, there wouldn't have been any question of an assault. He still would have looked like a hero for trying.
Absolutely.
And, you know, it would have just played to him because he wouldn't have actually assaulted anyone. And let's face it, that's what happened. If it's real, it was he punched a guy in the face. I mean, that happens in like bars and stuff all the time, but people get arrested.
Yep.
I don't buy it at all. I don't buy that there's that lack of security. I don't buy that, you know, he was just, you know, allowed to do that with no repercussions whatsoever. You know, I think the whole thing just stinks and was staged, and it was right before he won his Oscar. So there's another thing. People are going to tune in now because Will Smith just slapped someone. Everybody watched Will Smith get an Oscar. You know, and it's not that King Richard is a bad film. It's a fucking brilliant film. It's an amazing film. But Will Smith does not deserve to win any Oscars ever for After Earth and Wild Wild West. No, yeah. Sorry, he doesn't.
You can say that, but I mean, like, what if Ryan Reynolds had a really good movie and won an Oscar?
No, he doesn't get to.
He doesn't get to because of Green Lantern.
Because of Green Lantern, he doesn't get to win anything ever.
You do not get to be disqualified forever. I mean, look at how long Robert Downey Jr. went without winning a damn thing, or Leonardo DiCaprio, and like they have some shitty movies out there.
Do they have anything as bad as Green Lantern?
Titanic.
Colin Firth does.
Yeah.
Like, I love Colin Firth. I adore him. Please don't get me wrong. But like a majority of his movies are shit. I know that because I collect his movies.
As bad as Green Lantern or After Earth, which is an absolutely awful film.
But here's my thing. I think that the movie industry is dying in general. I mean, because no one's going to the movie theater. We could just stream it. And movie theaters are scary now. People are shooting them up and doing all sorts of crazy crap. And the last place you really want to be is in a little movie theater, especially when, I mean, like at least in Tennessee, we still have drive-ins. I tell you what, I'm not going to sit at a movie theater when I can order a pizza and go to a drive-in. But this is just a way of them being like, hey, movies, watch them. You know, you probably never heard of this movie because, you know, I don't know. Maybe I'm stupid.
I morally object to movie theaters being shot up and school shootings, obviously.
I do too.
But the movie theater one especially, because it's a big deal when I go to the movies, right? It doesn't happen very often, especially with the pandemic on, you know, and I like to sit there and watch the film and the trailers with my popcorn and my drink and be in peace. If I'm paranoid that someone's just going to walk in and shoot me, it just, you know, it's not right. People shouldn't be allowed to do that.
Right. So, I mean, but who really feels safe going into a Batman movie now? Like, you know what I'm saying?
So pathetic. Have you ever seen an interview with that guy as well? He is such a dweeb. Like
who? Robert Pattinson.
No,
the dude that shot up a movie theater in Colorado because he said he was the Joker.
Yeah, I don't even remember his name anymore.
But
he's nuts anyway.
He's a total dweeb, you know. this shooting up a movie theater was like the only thing he could do with his life because he wasn't going to do anything else. He was just a fucking dweeb. And that's my take on that.
You're a dweeb.
Your mum's a dweeb.
Face is a dweeb.
Your ass is a dweeb.
Well, the thing that also
Yeah.
This is just a little sneak preview into our private conversation.
This is our relationship displayed publicly for all to see. The maturity that we have. Anyway, we should move on to the topic, shouldn't we?
Sure.
Give me
why
a
not?
bad segue, Kevin.
I don't really have. I mean, actually, I'm not feeling very well, guys. I think I'm going to actually just have to get off the thing.
All right. So feel
Okay,
better,
buddy.
please.
Yeah. Well, no. I mean, it's just like I'm just not right. Anyway, so I'll just on that note. And you know who else isn't right? The beast with 23 bags or something. What's that called?
Yeah, okay. Just go, Kevin.
The beast
Isn't that-
with
isn't that-
23 bags.
It's like Caligula or something.
The beast with 1,000 backs. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Good night, Kevin.
All right.
Good night, Kevin. Be well, mate.
All right. We'll see you the next time. Bye bye.
Bye.
I hope he's not gonna have another
Yeah, me
heart attack or
too.
anything.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyway, we
I don't
go
know what's-
from
I don't know what's
from-
worse: him trying to quote the title of this week's podcast, or you trying to quote my inlay card details.
Yeah, I really fucked that up. I should have really committed that shit to memory better. Sorry.
Yeah, it's funny.
Okay, where were we? So anyway, we go from sunny shores of old Blighty across the globe to Japan, where in the 1980s, two masked men broke into the bathroom of a candy company called Glico and kidnapped the bathroom of the president of a candy company called Glico, Katsushi Izaki. They'd nicked a key from his mother, his 70-year-old mother. They broke him and they kidnapped him. 3 days later, he escaped. Couldn't give the police any identifying features about his kidnappers, but he was found free. So that's the setup. That's where we are, right? Dude gets kidnapped. He escapes. He doesn't remember anything about the people who kidnapped him. They were all wearing masks and stuff. So that was my introduction to this topic. And I was like, I watch a lot of true crime podcasts. And I was like, well, this is just another kidnapping. What's hooking me? What's the angle here? Well, this was the beginning of a year-long campaign of chaos and the most impatient to be caught criminals I think I've ever heard of. I mean, even the Zodiac killer waited a few years before sending letters. You know, these dudes, they were on it. Like, they started, he was kidnapped in March, and in April, the kidnappers were like, how come you ain't caught us yet? What's going on, lads? So they sent a letter to the Japanese police saying, are you stupid? There's so many on you. What on earth are you doing? If you are real pros, try catching me, dickheads. There's too much handicap. So I'm going to give you a hint. There's no fellows in the Aziki's relatives. There's no fellows in the Ninja police. There's no fellows in flood fighting corps. Car I used is grey. Food was bought in Daiei. If you want new info, beg for it in the newspaper. After telling you all this, you should be able to catch me if you are tax thieves. Shall I kidnap the head director of the prefectural police? That was obviously translated from Japanese. So, yeah, these dudes, this is barely less than a month after the crime has been committed. They're like, hey, catch us, motherfuckers. Come on, we're waiting for you. Nah. Just to give you some background on Japan, Japan has actually got the most efficient police force in the world. 97% of murders have been solved. 96% of thefts have been solved.
Nice.
And by comparative, in the United States, it's like 68% of murders have been solved and 16% of thefts have been stolen. So if you live in America, go out and steal stuff. The odds are in your favor.
That's very true.
So they sent that to the police. They also sent letters to the media taunting police to capture them. This was sent on the 23rd of April. I think I'm going to use my Watcher voice for this. Dust the old cobwebs off. So the letter reads, "To the police, fools. You shouldn't lie. If you lie, you steal. I also sent this to the Koshen police. Why are you lying? Don't hide things. Why are you complaining? You guys have such a hard time, so I will give you a hint. I entered the factory from the side staff entrance. The typewriter we used is a pan writer. The plastic container we used was a piece of spent garbage. Signed, the monster with 21 faces." Ugh, okay, now I remember why I stopped doing that.
Yeah, I was wondering. I was like, well, he's going to regret this.
Yeah, I instantly regret that. That
Yep.
pained my neck.
Respect for keeping it up for so long.
So the letter also stated that it laced something like $20 million, $25 million worth of candy, sweeties, with potassium cyanide, as you do. It also threatened that it was going to put them on store shelves. It's important to note that this threat was never carried out, as far as everyone knows. Glico immediately did an immediate, what's the word where you bring stuff back?
Recall
Of all candies. There was never any potassium cyanide found. However, another candy company was not so lucky. The Morinaga candy company, they had actual sweets poisoned. They got a letter as well in November, after the monster with 21 faces had poisoned their candy with sodium cyanide, not potassium, mixing it up. Fair enough. So their letter reads, "To the president, you saw our power, didn't you? If you disobey us, we will destroy your company. You will get killed." Fuck no. Decide whether you want to give us money or do you want to see your company destroyed. Tell us in the Maniaci newspaper on either the 5th or 6th of November. Use the missing persons. Use these words to reply. Hero, Morinaga, mother, police, bad friend, money, meal. As we said before, we want 200 million yen. The monster with 21 faces. This was the actual name of their group. This isn't a media name. This is the name they gave themselves. So, to recap, so far, they've kidnapped a dude, threatened to poison his candy. They didn't poison his candy. They've threatened this other candy company, but they've actually threatened poisoned their candy.
I love that. He threatened to poison the candy, but he didn't actually poison the candy.
No, he didn't poison the candy, but he poisoned another company's candy. They also dumped a vat of hydrofluoric acid in the factory of the Glico candy. The end of the cessation of the letters happened in 1985, August. They stopped sending the letters apparently because the death of the chief of police. The letter reads, "Yamamoto of Shinga Prefecture Police died. How stupid of him. We've got no friends or secret hiding place in Shiga. It's Yoshino or Shatika who should have died. Why have they been dying for as long as 1 year and 5 months? Don't let bad guys like us get away with it." I mean, this is what I'm talking about. They're just desperate to be caught. "There are many more fools who want to copy us. No career Yamamoto died like a man. So we decided to give our condolence. We decided to forget about torturing food-making companies. If anyone blackmails any of the food-making companies, it's not us, but someone copying us. We are bad guys. That means we've got more to do other than bullying companies. It's no fun to lead a bad man's life. Monster with 21 faces. After this letter, they were never heard from again. The statute of limitation for kidnapping ran out in 1996, 95, and the statute of limitation for the attempting poisonings expired in 2000. It's estimated that well over 1 million police officers worked that case in one capacity or another, chasing down 50,000 tips, 200,000 persons of interest. No suspect was ever charged. So that's a story of the monster with 21 faces.
So maybe I missed it, but what happened to the person they'd kidnapped?
He escaped.
Yeah, he's free. He's just fine.
And he
copied.
And how long did he spend in captivity with the monster?
3 days.
Okay, so not too long.
Yeah.
And he couldn't identify them, or
it's widely no. He had no. That was the thing. A lot of people think it was an inside job because their candy wasn't actually poisoned. You know, to put Glico in all the newspapers. On the other hand, it didn't do any favors for Glico stock prices. They plummeted, obviously, with all this publicity.
Yeah.
So, but no, it's widely speculated that the kidnappers weren't actually like really psychopaths. Like they weren't really bad people. You know, they warned them what they were going to do, and once they kidnapped him, they were like, well, what do we do now? We can't actually kill him. You know?
Yeah.
It's a bit of an odd one, this one.
I mean, what did they actually... What was their demand? What was their...
They wanted 200 million yen.
Right. And so to this day, no one knows who they are, who they were?
No, and the statute of limitations has ran out, so they could just confess.
Yet they haven't.
Yep. And this was in the 80s, so it's possible they'd still be alive.
Yeah. Bizarre.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to have any like real motive behind it either, other than to just tank the stock price of Glico and Moriaga.
So you think it was like corporate espionage or something?
It's it had to be some kind of corporate espionage, but no one seemed to profit. You know, there weren't any other candy companies that suddenly share sales skyrocketed or anything like that.
So what I don't get is why they threatened to poison one company's candy, but actually did it to another.
Well, they threatened both. They sent these letters and they threatened both. They actually went through with it for one, but they didn't go through with it for another. They might not have been able to do it.
Yeah, that might.
Because there's security in a lot of those places.
Yeah. Especially after they kidnapped the CEO. I imagine security was a lot higher.
Yeah. I mean, a logistical explanation makes a huge amount of sense for that, more than a deliberate decision.
Right.
Yeah.
Charming people. I mean, that is sodium cyanide. I mean, that would kill people, surely.
Yeah.
I mean, did anyone die of it?
No, they got to it just in time.
Fuck. I mean, I don't think you can not be a psychotic. You can be a very clever psychotic, but you can be you'd have to be pretty unhinged to do that. I'm thinking, you'd have to be a Cyrus the Virus. Take 2 degrees in prison or whatever.
Right.
You all know Con Air, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Oh, it's funny and fun.
Such a great movie.
But yeah, they didn't do anything like major. They just kidnapped the president. That was the only thing they did with a key they nicked off his 70-year-old mother.
How did they get a hold of his 70-year-old mother to nick the key in the first place?
She lived next door to him in an apartment that didn't have as much security.
Here, Mom, I love you. I'm probably a billionaire, but here's your shit security system. I just want to make sure you're taken care of.
Yeah.
Well, he lived next door, so like he could come round and help her if anything happened.
Yeah, but you still want a good security system for your mother. I don't know. Like, I feel like that would be more important than my own security system. Then again, you know, I guess my relationship with my mom's a little bit different.
Well, they wouldn't have to nick it off your mum. They just need to wait until she puts it down somewhere and then wanders off.
I mean, true.
But yeah, it's an interesting case. They did kidnap a guy. They threatened to poison some candy. Didn't go through with it. Logistically, I assume. Poisoned someone else's candy. That was the end of it, pretty much. And sent a load of, letters to the police with hints.
That the police still couldn't get. I mean, those guys are sitting around somewhere just like, hey, remember that time?
Hang on, here's one. What if the hints were not the truth and that meant put the police on the wrong scent and it was all a strategic deception?
Police never think that you're telling the truth. Never. So I think they would have taken it with a grain of salt anyway.
In which case, if you then add in the possibility that they might have been trying to confuse the police by telling them the truth, then the information is neither true nor false, so is meaningless and worthless.
Are you saying it's Schrodinger's truth?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I'm with that. I might as well have sent a bloody cat in a box.
I imagine they would have gone to work tracing the letters rather than the contents.
They can have my bloody cat. She's a pain tonight. No, they can't. She's gorgeous.
I was about to say, I'll take your cat. You better not.
She's very much alive, aren't you, lady? Yes.
She's beautiful.
Most people don't need to stress that their pet is alive. I'm now deeply suspicious.
Only the Schrodinger reference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, that hooked me. I went down a rabbit hole with that.
That's freaking
Watched
awesome.
a bunch of documentaries, and it just like the Japanese police is so efficient. Even the criminals were like, "Hey, why haven't you caught us yet?
What's wrong with you guys? You guys okay?
What's going on?
We're worried about your health. Are you like? Do you guys need something? Can we do something for you? Because you should have caught us by now."
My mate Leanne was on holiday in Japan, and she noticed these bin men were out doing their job, and a bag split and went everywhere. And the guys cleaned it up impeccably. They picked up everything. I don't know if they scrubbed the tarmac or not, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did. But she was very, very impressed, and she certainly felt they had a work ethic that puts us British people to shame.
Are you talking about Irish people?
No, Japanese.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They have way better work ethic than us.
Yeah. But
they have way more discipline than most people. Honestly, they have a lot of discipline.
Yeah, it's a curious society they have out there. I mean, the pressure, the stereo. I don't know if it's a stereotype. It's sort of the international understanding is that they achieve great things, but at great cost, and they have a high suicide rate. I even watched a documentary where Andrew Marr was touring different cities of the world. And when he went to Japan, he found that they have like an escort service, but for a cool friend. Where if you want to go to like a business meeting and impress everyone, you can hire this cool friend who's looks like a member of a J-pop band. They got cool hair, they're young, stylish, they know all kinds of all of sort of someone really young and fashionable, and you can hire somebody like that and bring them to an event as a guest to be cool.
You can also marry your pillow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So if you got a favorite pillow.
Okay.
That's just completely derailed the entire conversation.
I'm just saying that Japan is an odd place, and
I think, it's nice how non-judgmental they are. They're like, this is your kink, okay, marry your pillow, we don't care.
Yeah, we don't give a crap.
Just do your job. Just do your work on time and marry whoever you want to do, Yep. Just get the work done. They've still got a semi-caste system as well over there, which is very cool.
They've got a what?
A semi-caste system.
Oh, nice.
Remember castes? We used to have them in England.
Yes, I know what a cast is. Has an E at the end.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I was just telling you. I understand.
What, like a semi-formal societal hierarchy?
A semi-caste system. If you're born into a family of accountants, you're expected to be an accountant and stuff.
Oh, okay.
That might not be true. I might be being racist.
You might be super racist.
Yeah, you may as well just give it up.
Look, I'm not a weeb, okay? I know very little about Japan. Right.
Oh.
I'm not one of those weeaboos.
I know very little about Japan. They have arcades I'm interested in. That's all I know. That's literally all I know about Japan.
It does seem like a cool place, but I'm not obsessed with it.
And why not?
I'd like to visit.
Yeah, I would like to visit just once.
Yeah, and say, here I am in Japan. I'm still not into anime. I win.
I had a girlfriend from Japan for a long time. I've had 3 significant relationships in my life, and the second of the 3 was a young lady called Yuka, who was from Japan. That relationship didn't work out very well. Kind of understating it, but I don't know where she is now. She might be in the middle of London somewhere. We're not sure.
She left the country. She was so devastated by the breakup. Is that what you're telling me happened?
No,
she committed seppuku.
No, she's just.
I can't be with this pasty vegan. I take my own life. I've dishonored my clan.
Well, no, she did. She did threaten suicide when I left her. She pushed her.
Oh my god, that was meant to be a joke. What? Why, Tom?
Look what you did. Look what you did, Richard. Are you happy with yourself now?
Yeah, pretty.
Do you feel better about yourself?
She wasn't serious. Not really.
Not really. Which I found out after I broke up with her anyway. I was like, cool.
I don't know.
Here we are 5 years later, and she still hasn't killed herself. I'm technically in the clear.
That was a very long time ago. I mean, we're talking 20 years.
Oh, wow.
20 years, wow. Back when we all had afros and we were listening to disco.
Oh.
I think this is a natural conclusion to the show this week. Conversation seems to have petered out. Tom, you're going to be joining us next week?
I have every intention of being here. Absolutely.
What do you want to talk about?
That's an interesting one. Well, obviously. I don't know. Let's see. What suggests itself, guys? What's hot and what's not? Oh,
Whatever you want to
the
talk about.
P&O situation. The P&O ferries.
What?
You know, okay. There's a massive company over. This is a big scandal in England, Nikki, just recently. There's a company called P&O. They run ferries all around the country. Often, a lot of them to France. They take a lot of freight, a lot of passengers, a lot of tourists. They have what they've done a couple of weeks ago, and the ramifications are still building up. They called a meeting of pretty much their entire workforce and said to them, you're all dismissed immediately. And we're replacing you with foreign agency workers where, because they're registered in another country, we don't even have to pay them the national minimum wage in Britain. And you're all sacked. And then it went to the government. It went to court very quickly, or the guy was called to interview, and they said, you know what you've done is illegal. And the head of P&O said, yep, we knew it was illegal, but we're going to take their app and pay the fine, because that would have been cheaper than actually consulting the trade unions and doing it by the legal method.
Wow.
And that has actually happened. I'm 90% sure that everything I've said there is factually correct. I will get my facts straight and we'll find out more about it. So next week, I think the show should be P&O and other corporate bastards.
All right. I'm going with that. Fair enough.
Thanks, Richard.
All right, that'll wrap us up for this week. We will return next week, despite the hopes of many. It's good night from me, and it's good night from them.
Good night.
Thanks, everybody. Good night, guys.
Putin sucks.